and we will begin recording the service. Calling all Halloween fans, you are invited to share your Halloween costume during the story time near the beginning of worship next Sunday. Come help us think of ways in which we mask ourselves. Faith Forward Inquirers meets today after the service. Our session today is Worship and Liturgical Year. Inquirers is our newcomers program. Each Sunday after the service, we invite new attendees to join us to learn about Unitarian Universalism and Tree of Life. We will use the same link as this church service, and we'll start at 12:15, so you have time to join in coffee hour and to grab a quick bite to eat. To explore the possibilities of what effective anti-racism work might look like, members of the Tree of Life Board have been reading How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram X. Kendi and plan on having a group discussion about the ideas in this book this Tuesday, October 27th at 7 p.m. The board would like to welcome any interested members of the congregation to read the book and/or join the discussion. Our Compassion for Campers program is supplying our homeless neighbors with survival essentials every other week now and needs your support. You can contribute to this fund or contact Patrick Murphin about donating cold weather gear. And I will post Patrick's email in the chat in a moment. Mindfulness meets this week on Thursday. Only so that everyone can attend the How to Be an Anti-Racist discussion on Tuesday. After 7 weeks, 2 of our 3 athletes have completed their challenges, and our third is very close. 1 week to go, and Dream Team's 8s Are Wild, a triathlon fundraiser, will be completed. Please take a look at week 7 scoreboard on our website to see the progress of Karen, Peter, and Randy. On November 1st, if you pledge to this campaign, you will be receiving an email with the final results of the fundraiser, your sponsorship amount, and how to pay. Thank you so much for making 8s Are Wild a triathlon, one of Tree of Life's most successful fundraisers ever. And now we have an announcement from Rev. Jenn.
Hi, folks. The Mission of Vision Task Force has continued its work of helping the congregation consider during this transition time our mission and our vision as a community. So today during coffee hour, we would like you to take just a little bit of your time to reflect on, again, on the idea of rooted in love, reaching for justice, which has been our unofficial mission and may or may not become our official mission. But reflect on that for a few moments. If everything we did as a congregation was rooted in love and reaching for justice, what would our church look like? What might be different, and what might be the same? Thank you.
Thank you, Rev. Jenn. And finally, we want to get to know you and answer your questions. If you are new to Tree of Life, we hope you'll stick around after the service while we do coffee hour. We are a pretty friendly bunch and welcome a chance to get to know you. You can also stay in the main session, and a member of our membership development team will be there to greet you. And we also truly invite you to join us for inquirers at 12:15. We welcome all who have joined us here this morning, and so begin our service.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Tree of Life Unitarian Universalist Congregation online service. My name is George Kozlowski. I'm known as Kaz to just about everyone, and I'm your worship leader this morning. Our speaker this morning is our interim minister, the Reverend Jenn Gracen, who will be speaking on listening to the ancestors. And Rev. Jenn will begin our service with a call to worship.
Thank you. In the struggles we choose for ourselves, in the ways we move forward in our lives and bring our world forward with us, it is right to remember the names of those who gave us strength in this choice of living. It is right to name the power of hard lives well lived. We share a history with those lives. We belong to the same motion. They too were strengthened by what had gone before. They too were drawn on by the vision of what might come to be. Those who lived before us, who struggled for justice and suffered injustice before us, have not melted into dust and have not disappeared. They are with us still. The lives they lived hold us steady. Their words remind us and call us back to ourselves. Their courage and love evoke our own. We, the living, carry them with us. We are their voices, their hands, and their hearts. We take them with us, and with them choose the deeper path of living.
Thanks, Jen. Lighting our chalice this morning will be Irene Raven. Irene?
Thanks, Kaz. In line with our topic this month of deep listening, I'd like to share this quote from Henri Nouwen. "To listen is very hard because it asks of us so much interior stability that we no longer need to prove ourselves by speeches, arguments, statements, or declarations. True listeners no longer have an inner need to make their presence known. They are free to receive, to welcome, to accept." I like this chalice to remind us that the first duty of love is to listen.
Thanks, Irene. Now, please join us in recalling our purpose. We journey as a family towards spiritual growth, freedom in faith, celebration of diversity, commitment to action, devotion to each other, the community, and the earth. And now Heather Madaus will present a story for all ages to celebrate All Saints' Day.
This is the story of All Saints' Day. It is also called All Hallows' Day or All Souls' Day. It's a story from our Christian sources about something many Christians believe. I wonder what this could be. Christians believe that when people die, their spirit will go to heaven to be with the mystery that some people call God. The spirits of those who have died are with God, and they watch over us here on earth. Spirits who lived very special, holy lives while they were people on earth are called saints. These saints worked all their lives to help people and are remembered for their compassion, caring, and love. I wonder if these saints are spirits who always remembered our rainbow promises and acted on them. On All Hallows Day or All Saints Day, people here on earth pray to God to welcome spirits of their family or friends who have died into heaven. They pray to the saints to carry their prayers to the mystery that some people call God. There are lots and lots of saints that we know about, and some that we don't. Some saints have special jobs. These saints are called patron saints. And some saints are special to people during certain experiences. When someone is very sick, you might pray to Saint Jude. When you lose your keys or your favorite toy or your homework, you might pray to Saint Anthony. Some saints watch over places like Saint Patrick, who is the patron saint of Ireland. Some saints are special to people who do a certain kind of work. Saint Jerome is the patron saint of librarians. Saint Helen is the patron saint of archaeologists. I wonder if you know anyone who might be a spirit in heaven. I wonder what it feels like to have someone watching over you. I wonder who you would watch over. I wonder what it feels like to have a really big job to do. I wonder if there might be a saint for each one of our promises.
Thanks, Heather. Our special music this morning will include a merging of two songs, and here's Ron Relic to tell you more about it. Ron?
Thanks, Kaz. Our special music today is on the theme of remembrance of people and times past, especially those vivid memories from youth and childhood. It includes two songs by John Lennon. So the Beatles songs were published as Lennon-McCartney, but we now know so much more about who wrote what. In My Life and Strawberry Fields Forever were written in the same key musically and recorded a year apart in 1965 and 66. And in those years, John Lennon was only 25 and 26 years old. He considered In My Life as the first song he wrote that was not just rock and roll, but it was on the level of his published poetry. Strawberry Field was the Salvation Army youth home near his neighborhood in Liverpool. And he and his friends would climb the fence and play in the trees, and his mom would take him to summer festivals there. His sister described it as his sanctuary. In My Life, Strawberry Fields Together. Enjoy.
are places I'll remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some are gone and some remain. All these places have their moments with lovers and friends. I still can recall. Some are dead and some are living. In my life I've loved them all. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. Living is easy with eyes closed. Misunderstanding all you see. It's getting hard to be someone, but it all works out. It doesn't matter much to me. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. No one I think is in my tree. I mean, it must be high or low. That is, you can't, tune in, but it's alright. That is, I think it's not too bad. Let me take you down, 'cause I'm going to strawberry fields. Nothing is real and nothing to get hung about. Strawberry fields forever. But of all these friends and lovers, there is no one compares with you. And these memories lose their meaning when I think of love as something new. Though I know I'll never lose affection for people and things that went before. I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I love you more. In my life, I love you more.
Thanks, guys. Just fabulous. And now we welcome the Reverend Jennifer Gracen to our online pulpit.
Thank you. That was beautiful. While she was alive, my grandmother was the person in my family I was closest to. Granny and I shared a love of books. She was the first in my family to get a college degree. I was the second. We discussed politics and philosophy and disagreed about the value of the Electoral College. She loved poetry and her family. And before I started moving to different places in the country, I would make it a point to visit her grave on a regular basis and read poetry to her, especially the poems she loved. And when I didn't believe her spirit remained with her body, I felt closer to her by following the ritual of going to her graveside and remembering her by offering something she loved. This coming Saturday is the pagan holiday of Samhain, followed closely by the Christian holidays of All Saints and All Souls Day. We also see a similar holiday in Mexico called Dia de los Muertos, which is a mix of Mexican culture as well as Christian and ancient Aztec religious practices. What's interesting is that each of these holidays is rooted in the idea that this is the time of year when the veil between life and death is thin. This is the time when those who have gone before draw close. I think these holidays recognize something fundamental about human life, that it will end. And we who are left behind need ways and times to honor and remember those who have gone before. We need a chance to recall memories that we cherish and feel the losses that make us sad. But these holidays are about more than grieving those we were close to. They're an invitation to connect with ancestors we have known, but also those we will never know. The culture of the United States, especially the white dominant culture, struggles with the idea that the experiences and ideas of our ancestors matter. In fact, in this country, many of us are challenged by the idea that history matters at all. But what if there is value in striving to hear what our ancestors have to offer us? Those who have gone before, having experienced things we will never understand, learned lessons we can benefit from, both in the time when they did things for which we would be proud, and in the times when they caused harm. And if we turn the coin over, the same could be said for us. We've done things that would make our ancestors proud, and things they would reject for the harm that would be caused. I've been thinking a lot about ancestors and heritage as Virginia and I grow day by day closer to the birth of our child. My mother-in-law, Barb, who is eagerly awaiting her first grandchild, offered to do a family tree for me. She's fascinated by genealogy and has already done a lot of research on Virginia's ancestors. So she wanted little baby Gracen to have access to all branches of the family tree. And as I said yes to her offer, it got me thinking again about the meaning of ancestors. Is my beloved grandmother this child's great-grandmother? Even though they won't have a genetic connection, even though they will never meet? Is a biological connection required for that role? My family of origin doesn't have any experience of adopting or fostering children, so our family gatherings were full of people who are biologically connected to me, people who shared a similar genetic background, as well as growing up together. And it was at these family gatherings that I learned the most about our family history, I thought. My family on both sides had been in Kansas for at least 200 years. We'd always been Northerners. One side of my family claims to have founded an entire county. I was always a little dubious of that one. I'm aware some folks in this part of the country consider Kansans to be Southern, but ask people from Kansas, and we'll remind you we came into the Union as a free state and are Northerners. And yet, when my mother-in-law completed her family history for me, I found out unexpected things. I found out one side of my family was actually from Georgia and North Carolina. I learned of an ancestor who fought in the Revolutionary War. I found out another man we thought was my ancestor probably wasn't. And I read the will of an ancestor who owned slaves. And I read as he gave people's lives and independence to his wife and children. That's been a challenge to sit with. And as I think about baby Gracen, I consider this history. Does our child inherit these ancestors? Will our little one receive both the gifts and baggage from my family tree? I think the answer is yes. And it's actually the LGBTQ community that taught me why. For many LGBTQ folks, coming out of the closet is a risky prospect. People lose friends. They are rejected by their family. This is actually likely one of the major contributing factors in a study that says LGBTQ youth comprise 40% of all youth experiencing homelessness, while they are just 7% of the total youth population in the US. It's in these communities that the idea of family being about more than blood has grown such strong roots. LGBTQ communities remind us that family can also be about the people that love you and the communities to which you belong. So what might this mean for us? As a white, female, lesbian, Unitarian, Universalist minister, I'm not only the descendant of my parents and my, at times, unexpected family tree, I'm also the descendant and recipient of white American culture, including white privilege and the results of systemic racism set up to benefit me because of the color of my skin. I'm also the descendant and recipient of the effort of women who fought for the vote, who fought for the right, my right to speak to you as a minister. And it was a fight, even for Unitarian and Universalist women. And because I'm a part of this community, I'm the adopted descendant of Universalists who taught about unconditional love and grace. I'm the descendant of Unitarians who fought for and against slavery and who promoted education, both religious and secular. As a lesbian, I'm the descendant of women who had to hide their relationships with other women over the generations, and the descendant of LGBTQ folks who sometimes disregarded and marginalized one another. I'm the descendant of those who struggled for freedom, connection, and peace for themselves and others. My family tree is both biological and spiritual. It is tangled and complex and beautiful and frustrating, and it's why I'm here today. And you, my friends, you have your own story, your own spiritual family tree, full of people whose hopes, ideals, struggles, successes, and failures have in part helped you to be where you are today. There's so much we can learn from those who have gone before. We are the descendants of people who have faced a fear-filled, divided nation and people who have experienced a global pandemic. We are the descendants of millions who in their time pushed the arc of the universe ever closer towards justice, love, and connection. I encourage you to take some time this week to think about your ancestors. Not just those with whom you share blood or those people who raised and loved you. Think about the other communities as well. Those you are a part of because of the circumstance of your birth and the families you choose. The communities you make a decision to join. We are the descendants of millions of ancestors from all of these families. And we will only ever know a fraction of their names. and yet they live on in us. We are shaped by those who love us, those we let into our hearts, but we also carry forward the work, the hope, the love, the struggles, and the foibles of the chorus of people who have gone before. We can honor their gifts by remembering their work. All that we build rests on a foundation created by generations of people. The work we do for justice and change in this world resonates and continues the work of millions. And when we choose love over division, those who have shared those ideas through the ages continue to speak to and with us. Ultimately, we can listen to our ancestors by both honoring and continuing their work. And this doesn't mean dismissing the harm that has gone before. In fact, it means working to correct the mistakes that were built into the foundation on which we stand. Even as we remember that others have been working to correct those mistakes too. We honor and listen to the ancestors by doing as Starhawk, a witch and activist, says. Decide what is sacred to you and put your best life energies at its service. Make that the focus of your studies, your work, the test for your pleasures and your relationships. Don't ever let fear or craving for security turn you aside. My beloved spiritual companions, the veil is thinning. Who will we listen to this week? What communities are we a part of? What communities have we chosen? May we embrace the invitation to pause, to connect, and honor the work that has led to us here today. We are not alone in grief, and we've never been alone in striving to make this world better than it has been. May we lead lives that give our descendants a strong foundation on which to build. Amen. Blessed be.
Thanks, Reverend Jenn. We can learn so much from our ancestors. Each week we take an offering that supports the work of this congregation in our lives, in our communities, and in the world. Today and in the weeks to come, you may make your offering in one of three ways, which are listed on your screen. Doing the text to give at 815-332-0643, giving online at the address that is given there, and mailing a check to our church in McHenry. During this time of uncertainty, your generosity to Tree of Life is more important than ever. And as always, we give thanks for these gifts and for all the gifts you bring. Sharing our joys and concerns is a sacred moment in our worship when we open our hearts to receive and embrace each other's lives. If there is something new in your personal life, an event or situation of joy or challenge that touches you, please feel invited to share this to help our community grow in connection. All announcements will appear in our newsletter unless there is a request to be withheld. If you do have something to share, click on the participant link at the bottom of the screen and then click on the raised hand. Judy will then call on you and will also unmute you.
Thank you, Kaz. And going through my list of already raised hands, just to make sure, Kaz, do you have a joy or concern that you would like to share? Or Sue?
Yes, I do. She's right next to me. And most of you know, Sue is 4 days removed from hip replacement surgery, and she is doing unbelievably well. She has had no complications at all, and she says she's going to be running in about 2 days. I don't think so, but we'll see. Great to have her with us.
Would expect nothing less out of Sue Kozlowski, I swear. Thank you. And Rev Jen, do you have a joy or concern that you wanted to share? No, okay. And Patrick Murphin, I see your hand is raised. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Thank you. I'd like to express my gratitude for all the members of the congregation that shared their thoughts and prayers for my wife Kathy, who has successfully had her surgery on Monday, and he got home late Thursday afternoon, and is busy recovering as we speak. She's in a little discomfort, but the prognosis is generally good. She has some things to follow up on, but we really appreciate all of the support.
Thank you, Patrick, and our continued good wishes to Kathy as she recovers, and so glad the surgery went well. And Jess Miller, I see your hand is raised.
Oh, one of my joys is my husband is going to be returning today, and he has been on a 3-week trip across the West, all while maintaining social distancing, staying at campgrounds, eating backpacking meals. So I know he's going to be so happy to get home, and we're all happy to have him come back.
Yes, I've been waiting, thinking, my goodness, it seems like a long 3 weeks that he was gone there, Jess. I'm sure you'll be glad to have him home. And let's see. I do not see any more raised hands, and I do not see anything in the chat, but I ask that everybody hold Zena McFadden in your thoughts as she grieves the loss of Randy Jasper. And I think that is it. Kaz, back to you.
We will now honor all those unexpressed joys and concerns that remain on our hearts for the space of 3 cleansing breaths. Now, let's sing together as Billy Seger plays hymn 187, It Sounds Along the Ages, and the words will appear on the screen.
It sounds along the ages, soul answering to soul. It kindles on the pages of every Bible scroll. The psalmist heard and sang it, from martyr lips it broke, and prophet tongues outrang it, till sleeping nations woke. From Sinai's cliffs it echoed, it breathed from Buddha's tree. It charmed in Athens market, it hallowed Galilee. The hammer stroke of Luther, the pilgrim seaside prayer, the oracles of concord, one holy word declare. It calls and lo, new justice, it speaks and lo, new
And now, please join us in reading our closing words. Be ours a religion, which like sunshine goes everywhere. Its temple all space, its shrine the good heart, its creed all truth, its ritual works of love, its profession of faith, divine living. I will now extinguish our chalice. If you have a chalice or flame at home, you can do the same as I start with these words. We extinguish this flame of communal worship and now carry its light within us. We share this light. We carry its warmth to all whom we meet.
I invite you to take a breath with me. As we move through this week, may we find times to pause, to recognize those who have gone before. And may we always remember we are never doing this work alone. Go in peace, go in love, blessed be.
And thank you, Rev Jenn. Thank you, everyone, for such a beautiful service. And we are going to break for coffee hour. But first, Rev Jenn, would you like to remind us of our reflection that you would like us to do during coffee hour?
Thank you, Judy. That would be great. Yeah, we're just inviting you to spend just a few minutes, not your entire coffee hour, check-in's important, with the question of, if everything we did as a congregation was rooted in love and reaching for justice, what would our church look like? So what might be different? What might be the same? Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll be breaking everybody up into breakout rooms. And if you would like to go to coffee hour, just accept going to the coffee hour. If you are new, we invite you to do that. If you are new and you would like to meet with someone on the membership team, such as myself, you can just not accept and stay here in the main room. And we, of course, invite our newcomers to join us for inquirers after the service at 12:15 using the same link. And we'll be discussing worship and liturgical year today. And Mark, go ahead and play us out with Coffee, Coffee, Coffee.
Coffee, 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 praise the strength of coffee. Early in the morn we rise with thoughts of only thee. Serve fresh or reheat